Hey everybody, we're live, and just gonna make sure that the volume is working properly here. And there's a bit
How
of
do
a delay between
how do I get rid of that light?
being
Sorry.
nine, sure, and everything else. Uh, and we're live. Michael, how you doing?
It's been better.
And we're live. Michael, how you doing?
I'm okay. It's been better.
Okay,
Thank you.
I don't.
You get that? You get that?
Just trying to avoid the loop there, but yeah, folks, has
You get
been.
that? Hearing a big screech on my end.
Oh, sorry about that. That's because I opened up the other version of that on mobile,
Got it.
and I didn't turn the volume down. I just need to keep an eye on it just for diagnostic
I don't need
purposes.
to know how you're getting high, man. That's not my. What is going on with this light? I'm trying to.
Michael is the legendary creator of the Black Panel at the San Diego Comic Con, and well known there. Well known also at WonderCon, and um, Michael has been through it, as they say. But let's put the baby right in the nice warm bath water. Take us back to San Diego Comic Con 2024. Michael, what happened
um.
at the Black Panel?
Well, usually the way the black panel and any panels work at Comic Con is around March of that year. You'll get a notification from Comic Con asking for your either panel suggestions, or if you're like me who's been doing it for almost 30 years, I started when I was 6, um, or what information you're going to have on your recurring panel. The Black panel's been around since almost 30 years, right? So I received nothing from Comic Con, and I sent them plenty of correspondence and didn't get anything back. And I didn't figure it. I knew it had to be because I've been under a constant cyber attack. So I decided to drive to Comic Con to hand deliver the 2024 Black Panel. The Comic Con offices had moved, and that's not the sort of thing that you can get online because they don't want people just showing up there, trying to get tickets or whatever. So I went to the Comic Con museum. There was a long line to get in. I approached the security guard and I said, "Hey, showed him my VIP Inkpot Award. I'm an Inkpot Award recipient, and what an Inkpot Award does for you is give you access to any and everything that Comic Con does, and instant access for free." Showed them that.
That's basically an all access pass.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It's like it's badass. Showed them that. They looked me up on a computer, let me in. The staff was wonderful with me. A bunch of them recognized me, and a woman.
Michael, I would think that somebody that has an all access pass would be just massively loved by everybody, right?
They hooked me up, and I was invited to lunch, and
Okay.
your mom didn't show up, so I was very disappointed when I invited her to lunch. She didn't show up. So I was invited to lunch. Maybe 3 minutes after I'm sitting down to have lunch, and I'm signing autographs in there, security comes and escorts me out.
What?
Word to your mother.
So let me get this straight. You are
Literally, word to your mother.
you walk in, you're treated like royalty. You've got your all access pass, smiles and high fives and handshakes.
I'm feeling comfortable for the first time in months because I've been trying to get out from under this cyber attack for years. I was about that. They offered me a use of an office. I can make calls, and I was going to do all that. But after I sat down and ate, and then they came and got me.
3 minutes later.
It's that long,
Wow.
you know.
And no
So-
explanation?
I asked on the way down. I asked for an explanation, and they said, "Well,
They didn't physically manhandle you, did they?
no, no, no,
Good.
no, no." But they were not. They were not the people. They had changed completely from when I was let in.
Wow.
Right. So I said, "But you looked me up on the computer," and the guy says, "Well, it turns out that you're not who we thought you were." And I'm like, "What?
What?
Okay, I gave you the card, and they took my card. They
Yeah.
took my VIP card, and then I left. I had called David Glanger,
David
and
Glanzer, the czar,
yeah,
the czar
I
of
called
Comic Con. Yeah.
and he I'm not. He said he was doing some business, and he wasn't going to be wasn't going to be, he didn't know whether or not he'd be able to make it back to the museum, right? And then I left. What was interesting about this is I don't carry a cell phone anymore, right? But during the time that I'm at the Comic Con Museum, my assistant got a call and got a voicemail from me. I didn't make a call. My voice sounds just like me though. It wasn't me. And
Did she record it?
So, I'm sorry.
Did she record it?
We still have a copy of that, right? Yeah, we still have a copy of that.
Yeah, keep
Right,
that.
wasn't me.
Yeah, keep that.
But the interesting thing is I only talk to people via, if I can't see, either by Facebook Messenger. Actually, it's only Facebook Messenger because I don't carry a cell phone anymore, so I can't do whatever the iPhone thing is, this, that, and the other. But the David, Jackie Estrada, Tony, you go down the list of people, Wayne Brady. None of these people I can no longer get to.
Not
they don't answer.
Wayne Brady's your friend. Wayne Brady is the
Wayne Brady is a
host
very
of Let's Make a Deal.
and we were doing. It's weird. It's anyway. I don't want to be all over the place. Anyway, so I got a email from somebody from Comic Con, which for some reason they could not go on camera, telling me that the reason I was thrown out is that security caught me going through somebody's office who wasn't there. Bullshit. Didn't happen.
What?
I was never alone. I've got, from the moment I walk into this place to the moment I left, I've got a video documentation of this. Not only that, this museum houses millions and millions of dollars worth of artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're gonna tell me you don't have a security camera there?
Were you making videos of yourself such that you can?
No,
a similar situation like that happened with me.
I wore was the equivalent of a body cam. Right. Basically, it shows my movements, and you'll see that I was never alone. I was never. Not only was I never alone, that they greeted me like like I was important.
Right.
Now, at first I thought that was a good thing because there's no way on this planet you can deny that I haven't been under attack when people, when they got a call or somebody walked in and said X, Y, and Z. Now, what is it that could be said about me, about anyone, that will cause an institution, or Jim Lee for that matter, to walk out or to kick me out of a situation? Isn't it? I mean, let's say law enforcement. Let's say that I'm being investigated for dog napping or whatever. Law enforcement can't call up and fuck up your life by influencing somebody and telling them, "Oh, by the way, this guy is under investigation for whatever." They can't do that, right? I mean, And whoever has targeted me for whatever reason has got the kind of influence or clout which is just completely destroying my shit. I mean, literally, $500,000 in the bank to homeless, and you'll notice that there's been no movement from any of the people that I'm involved with. I couldn't reach you for months, right? And we've been talking about me being hacked for years, right? You're the one that volunteered to look over my original Black Panel, which was no longer under my control, my website.
Right.
And it's been a recurring thing with me. But the interesting thing,
the good news, by the way, is it's so poorly coded, you don't have to worry anything to worry about.
Say it again.
I said the good news is it's so poorly coded, you don't have to worry anything to worry about. It's the other aspects of it that are, well, we'll talk about that later. But
all right, but
whoever did it didn't know what they were doing much.
But you can tell that it was hacked, right?
Yeah.
You can tell, and I have no control over that, and that's got a lot of information. My MichaelDavisWorld.com, which was very, very, very successful, that was deleted completely. You know, I got an offer from I got two offers. One from the people that I guess it was NBC that fronted the grill. You know, because Michael Davis World was way ahead of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was pop culture and politics, and we were the Daily Beast before the Daily Beast existed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were pop culture, politics, comics, movie reviews, and it's no longer under my control. All of my emails from MichaelDavisWorld.com.
No longer under your control.
It's been deleted completely.
Okay, but that means you can recreate it.
Yeah, but we tried, what did we do? The Black Panel .what? Online. We did that with the Black Panel Online. Black Panel .online. Got the domain name. The website was beautiful. Went away.
You mean went away? Which hosting company did you set it up with?
What hosting company? Was it GoDaddy? GoDaddy.
Get off GoDaddy. Go to use HostGator.
Well, I no longer own the domain.
I'm sorry?
I no longer own the domain. It was snapped up. If I want to get it back, it's like $90 million.
Nah, you know what? You can there's an easy workaround. We'll talk about that offline. Don't let that stop you. There's a beautiful workaround. I went through that.
Every attempt that I've made.
I mean, look, I own withthefirstpick.com. Mm-hmm. Okay? It turns out that you can spell with the first pick two ways. I spelled it the other way.
Oh, that's funny.
And I only bought it for $13. So I'm saying it's a matter of technical knowledge.
All right. Yeah, well, I have any technical knowledge, but there's plenty of things that I no longer even attempt to recreate, because whoever this is, however it's being done, it has effectively done two things. A, it's literally stopped me cold. They've emptied my bank account, destroyed my credit, and the glaring thing about this is that at this point, when remember in 2019 when the hackers told everybody I committed suicide?
I didn't see that. You didn't see
in 2019 when somebody said that I committed suicide?
I heard the only person I heard a reference to about that was you. I didn't actually see that. It didn't come up on a search about you. Hi.
Google it right now.
If I Googled you, you know what the first thing I find out is?
What?
I find a Wikipedia page about you connecting you directly with the Black Panel. I didn't read the whole Wikipedia entry to see if there was any. I didn't have time because we were setting up, right?
You Google Michael Davis hoax. And
hoax, so that's different. Okay, because then hoax.
H-A-O-X.
Wait a second. Hoax. Wait a second. What am I going here?
Where's it? What did I do with the phone? What did I do with the phone?
StreamYard. Okay. Michael Davis. Okay. Update. Michael Davis victim of prank death hoax. That's on IMDb. That's what I get here.
Check it out. All these are references to me being hacked.
Right. Yeah, the first result I get. The first result I get, and I would have to take your screen down to show it, so it's a little bit
No, that's all right.
there. But there's
Yeah,
there's an alternative way though. Now that I think about it, so all I have to do is go over here and take a picture, Zenny, of what I saw, Zenny, and there it is, Zenny. So right there. Okay, so now that I've done that, and I go back here. Oops, excuse me. There, right. Now this, folks, is whoops. Can't see it that way. This way. You already see me. This is what I get.
Right.
It's right here.
But the rest of, if you keep going down, you'll see all these other, like from Comics B, entertainmentnow.com, there's a bunch of, I mean, I trended worldwide. Hold on a second.
Michael Davis, victim of, yeah, but it also says in comics books you were a victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says but they said that I was. It says that I had committed suicide. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. Can you read that?
Yeah. Yep, I do that. But the good news, though, is you have a number of publications that reported it was a hoax. I mean, that the hoax about you was fake news, which is which means that there are people out there who are willing to tell the right story about you, Michael.
It also means that there are people who it's also consistent and clear evidence that I have been dealing with this hacking for years.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and it's bad. Right. And it's gotten worse from that. Now, here's something interesting.
Now, who do you think would do that, though?
I have no idea. I know who would gain from this, but I'm not.
Who?
I am not in any way. Why does my screen keeps going in and out? You keep getting smaller and
that's
bigger.
That's because I'm using StreamYard platform.
Okay.
Within Firefox.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's you, in other words.
If I may, though. But the Messenger is in Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are
in other words,
and then you are on Facebook. Okay, so it's these different layers of platforms trying to talk to each other in a sense, and that's what's happening. Yeah.
Okay, do this for me. Look up, if you can, the conspiracy behind the cartoon Static Shock.
Okay. Conspiracy. I see. I seem to remember we had talked about Static Shock before.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second. All right. Oh boy.
It's on a website called Tell Us Truth. Tell Us Truth.
Conspiracy what?
Yeah, here you go. Tell Us Untold.com.
Static Shock, got it. Okay. Almost there. There's a whole Wikipedia on why Static Shock, folks. For those of you out there who are wondering what Static Shock is, let me tell you.
Most successful animated cartoon created by black people about black people.
Yeah, Static Shock is an American superhero animated television series based on the Milestone Media / DC Comics superhero Static. It premiered on September 23rd, 2000 on the Warner Brothers Television Network Kids WB programming block. Static Shock ran for 4 seasons with 52 half-hour episodes in total. The show revolves around Virgil Hawkins, a 14-year-old boy who uses the secret identity of Static after exposure to a mutagen gas during a gang fight which gave him electromagnetic powers. It was the first time that an African-American superhero was the titular character of their own broadcast animated series.
Where are you reading this? Is that from the article I sent you to?
That's from Wikipedia.
Okay.
Because people are going to want to know, watching this, who've never heard of Static Shock,
All the people watching this, they know what Static is. Come on, man.
But there may be that person in Bangladesh one day.
Well,
So, but at any rate, the genre was action, adventure, comedy, science fiction, superhero, based on Static by Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cowens, Michael Davis, who was before us, Derek T. Dingle, and Christopher Priest. And it was developed by Christopher Simmons, season 2 it says, with the voices with the voices of Phil Lamar, Jason Marsden, Kevin Michael Richardson, excuse me, and Michelle Morgan. The theme music composer was the legendary Stanley Clarke. And Richard Wolff. Stanley Clarke was season 1, Richard Wolff was season 2. Lil Romeo and Master P, seasons 3 and 4. Wow, not bad, Michael. Not bad.
Shaq was on there too.
Yeah. Shaq is
anyway, yeah, Shaq was on. He was a guest on.
You mean the Shaq, like Laker Shaq, like?
Yeah.
Like
he
inside
I think he had a
NBA
2-part
Shaq?
episode on Static. Yeah.
Wow.
But what I wanted you to look at was the article written about me, the conspiracy behind the cartoon Static Shock, in which they say, out of the blue, I'll show it to you.
I'm getting it right now.
Okay.
I got it right now. It's by Tellers Untold: The Conspiracy Behind the Cartoon Static Shock 2021.
That's a Black History website, and it's from what I can find out, it's pretty popular. Right?
It's written August 6th of 2019. It goes, "My boys were introduced to Static Shock, the television series, this summer. Like most kids, they love superheroes, but they also typically don't understand how any show that is filmed in definition. However, they love this show and look forward to each episode. If you're not familiar with this black superhero..."
How can you not understand something? Let me ask you a question. It says that they don't understand any show that isn't filmed in high definition. How the fuck? The content is still the same. It's the same exact story.
It's a good
It's
question.
the exact same story. How are your kids so fucking stupid that they don't understand? They don't understand it now because it's not in high definition.
I got nothing for you. At any rate, it goes on to...
This is the quality of the writing for this, right?
It goes on to read...
But
It goes on to
what?
read, however they love this show and look forward to each episode. If you are not familiar with this black superhero, it continues, you should check it out. The main question I have, the author writes, is Static is overdue for a reboot or a film. Why hasn't it been done? And then it goes on to ask, who is Static? Mm-hmm. Static, he writes, is a fictional black superhero who appears in American comics books published by DC Comics. Not bad, man. Milestone Comics created Static. They are an independently owned imprint of DC Comics founded by Dwayne McDuffie. who passed away on February 21st, 2011, at the age of 49. That is too young. Dennis Cowan, Michael Davis, here's before us, and Derek Dingle. McDuffie and Robert L. Washington III initially wrote it, and it was illustrated by John Paul Leon. However, the creation of Static was a group effort, according to McDuffie. Static's character, Virgil Hawkins, was named after Virgil D. Hawkins. He was a black man who was denied entrance into the University of Florida's law school in 1949. This is the true story part, folks. This is not fiction. This has actually happened. All right, so this is your black history. At any rate, Virgil Hawkins was a black man who was denied entrance to the University of Florida's law school in 1940. He was black. Milestone published its first release of Static in June of 1993. However, Warner Brothers created a series Static Shock, which aired for 4 seasons and led to the 2021.
The 2001.
I'm sorry, thank you. The 2001 miniseries Static Shock, Rebirth of the Cool came out. Static incorporated into the DC of the Teen Titans. Static Shock, the author as a question mark. One of the many co-creators of the successful Cartoon Network animated series Static Shock. It was the only, and I apologize, folks. This thing is not well written. Okay,
It is
horribly written.
Horribly written.
This is so bad, folks. If you're ever writing anything, make
you
sure.
You actually cleaned it up a little bit by adding I and.
Yeah, I had to clean up as I go. This is the first time I read it, and I'm literally, putting. I'm literally putting.
You're trying to grammatically correct something which is ungrammatically correctable.
Well, no. What I'm doing basically is I'm adding concrete in the potholes.
You should read it exactly like it is, man.
No, I'm not gonna read it. I'm not. No, I'm gonna be caught dead doing that. I'm gonna clean up as I go. And anyway, as I was saying,
one of the many co-creators of the successful Cartoon Network animated series Static Shock. What the fuck? It doesn't even lead to anything.
No, it doesn't.
It starts one of the many co-creators, then it goes on to something else.
Right. So right. And so it's a Static Shock. What it should say, Static Shock. Who are the co-creators of the successful animated series Static Shock?
There were many of them. That's what she said. There were many of them.
Right. It was the only animated superhero series with a black lead that is not part of an ensemble, as with Cyborg or Green Lantern, until Black Panther.
Not true. Hammerman. The what do you call it? MC Hammer cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing that that thing that Tone Loc did.
Right. At any rate, it says until Black Panther in 2010 by Marvel. Static was also the first black DC Comics character to have his own show, Static.
That's true.
After the end of the New 52. He had a brief cameo in Teen Titans.
She doesn't explain what the New 52.
The sentence, it says, Static was also the only first black character to have his own show, period. And then it reads, Static after the end of New 52, which, that is the sentence fragment I've ever seen in my entire life. At any rate, he had a brief cameo in Teen Titans. And then it asks the question of the day. Who is Michael Davis, the man before us?
Without
a lead-in.
Exactly.
No, there's no lead-in. Right. Michael, it's like he wrote this, then said, I think I'll go to bed tonight. Then woke up the next day and went to work. Then went back to work the next day. Then the weekend came and he said, I'll finish it now. But where did I leave off? Oh, I forgot. That's how it reads. Anyway,
who is Michael Davis?
Who is Michael Davis? Michael Davis later became president and CEO of Motown Animation and Filmworks. Congratulations, Mr. Davis. His first move as CEO was to start a comic...
How the fuck would she know what my first move was?
At any rate, I don't know the answer to that question. I'll continue. His first move as CEO was to start a comic book line to create a universe of characters and content for multiple media platforms. He was involved in the development of TV shows at Disney, ABC, Warner Brothers, and Fox. Cousin Skeeter developed at Motown, ran from 1998 to 2001 on Nickelodeon. Static Shock, the hit Emmy Award-winning animated show, originally ran from 2000 to 2004 on the WB. Hey, Mike, we got your Emmy Award around there anyway? They didn't steal that, did they?
They got my ink pot. They got my
They got your Emmy?
They got my ink pot. I didn't get the Emmy.
Oh.
Joe got the Emmy. I think Dwayne took it. They got my ink pot. They got my what do you call it? My Harvey Award. You know, the Harvey Award.
They got your Harvey Awards? You can get them back.
Shoot.
You didn't ask them?
I didn't ask who. The people that stole?
No, the people that made the original award.
No.
Continuing. Michael Davis was involved in the development of the shows at the networks I mentioned, and Static Shock, again, the Emmy award-winning animated show, ran from 2000 to 2004 on the WB, as it was called then. Michael Davis was the author of the comics-based program, The Action Files, and one of the brains behind the Magic Media and the Davis began association with the black publisher Urban Ministries Incorporated and created the Christian comic book line, the Guardian line, that features titles like Code, Jesse, Joe, and The Messenger.
The only book that she got correct was Code. There was no book called Jesse, Joe, and The Messenger.
Where'd that come from? Oh, what it says is that
Controversy.
Like Code, comma, Jesse, comma, and then Anne, the messenger. So she was trying to separate these out.
It said the line features titles, plural, like Code, Jesse, Joe, and The Messenger.
Right.
She's giving the impression that Jesse, Joe, and The Messenger were separate books.
Right. The controversy.
None of that shit is correct.
Noted. The controversy. It continues what I'm reading here.
Okay.
My husband, but anyway,
Yeah.
The author says, my husband attended San Diego Comic-Con a few weeks ago and sat in on the black panel with co-creator Michael Davis. Davis announced...
Hold up. Co-creator?
Yeah.
Co-creator?
He said...
I didn't co-create the fucking thing. There's no co-creator for the black panel.
No, there's you. Yes, you.
There's no co-creator. Yeah.
Right.
It's like saying...
only you.
It's like saying the co-creator of... I got nothing. It's the co-creator of a painting by Picasso.
Yeah.
You know, there's no co-creator in that. But go ahead.
Or the co-creator of Batman, knowing doggone well that Batman was created by Bruce Wayne.
Batman was created by Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, and there's only one Bruce Wayne. Right?
Batman was created by Bob Kane and...
No, I mean in the sense of in the context of the story, not in reality.
Secret identity of Bruce Wayne. Oh, I get you. Batman
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
That's a flimsy excuse, but it works technically.
Well, hey, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Moving along. Michael Davis, as reads here, signed a non-disclosure agreement with Warner Brothers stating he can't get work for any Warner Brothers company or affiliate, which is standard. In other words, this is also incorrectly written. In other words, you can't... It's a non-compete clause. Basically, you cannot go with to work with any other company. And then it reads, however, Warner Brothers has a court case saying that you broke the agreement. Is that
No,
true?
you don't.
Is that true?
No.
Wow.
What's true is I did sign a non-disclosure because the non-disclosure was a smoking gun. You cannot, first of all, a executive at Warner Brothers committed crime. He literally sent a letter to Clarence Avon at Motown stating that I was still under contract to Milestone and the DC Comics. If effectively what they had done forced me out, right? Because they hadn't paid me for 3 years, right? And so that's bullshit. So so here's the thing. Not only when when I was given my freedom, it just so happened that I'm Disney, Universal, and Motown all wanted me to come and be an executive over there. And but Motown, you know, I was like, okay, because what Motown did was create a division for me, and then fold in the film division. So I was running film, I was running television. Officially, I was running film and TV, but it was called Motown Animation and Filmworks, right? And they created an entire infrastructure for me, right? So when at one point, years after I left Milestone. Oh, by the way, if it was anyone but Clarence Avant, who the legendary godfather of all black fucking entertainment, if it was anyone but him, they would have succeeded in destroying my deal at Motown, right? Because they sent a letter giving the impressions that I was under contract, which I was not. They had forced me out, but I'm one of these motherfuckers. When something happens to me, I not only everybody, you're frozen. Okay, not only do I keep copy of it, right, but I make sure to document what's going on at that time. So whenever I send a memo out, it's always, you have to initial the memo, so I know that you got it. So basically, what he sent was a fraudulent letter. That's crime number one. Years later, Warner Brothers Animation wants me to do marketing and marketing and something. Merchandising and marketing for Static Shock. My deal was $10,000 a month plus 25% of everything I bring in. After a month, they wanted to. They literally said, "We want to redo your deal." They tore up the deal because I had brought in so much shit in a month that that 25% would have made me a multimillionaire. Right? But I brought in a toy deal. I brought in an advertising deal. Why nobody has gone to Procter & Gamble or whoever makes cereal and said, "How would you like a black superhero on your box of chocolate Negroes or whatever?" You know.
So wait, you're on your way to be a multimillionaire, and so they tore up the deal. You let them tear up the deal?
No. They tore up the deal. They wanted me to become an executive there.
An executive. Okay, gotcha.
20 years ago.
You said that.
20 years ago, I would have been the first head of diversity at any major corporation. Now they got them all over the place, right? Right. So,
you've been head of diversity.
Yeah, back in 2002 or whatever. So,
why didn't they just bring you in as like a decision-making creative rather than a
No. This was a much better deal.
Okay.
Because because I would have been the way corporate America works is my last job before that was I think I was executive vice president of animation at Magic Johnson Company. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, what your lawyer does is they try to get you to match their highest thing, which is president and CEO of Motown or whatnot. But they come back with, you can't start below this plateau. So I was coming in as a freaking EVP, right? Because I had 2 corporate jobs which are like that. And then, so I was like, oh, hell yeah. So I went to Comic-Con. They gave me AD cards. They paid for everything. I met with HR. I was officially a corporate officer at Warner Brothers.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, cool. I got back from Comic-Con, and then I got a call saying that my deal was dead because on Sunday morning, I was at Comic-Con calling DC Comics racist. Right? Didn't happen. Right? Here's the thing. It didn't happen. First of all, I was supposed to be on a panel on Sunday. Right? But I left Sunday night on the red eye, right? I'm sorry, Saturday night I left on the red eye so I could spend Sunday with my family. My family's from New York. And
Hold on a second. Whoa. Let's back way up. They terminated your agreement ostensibly because you said that they were racist?
because they said that I was at DC Comics table at Comic Con Sunday morning calling DC Comics racist.
Okay, so here's my point. This happened in California, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. What they did to you is against the law. They fire you because you said...
Wait a minute. Say it again.
California fair practices, labor practices. You cannot be fired for saying that your employer did something that was racist. That is
But
illegal.
I wasn't there in the first place.
No, that doesn't matter. Even if
It does matter.
No,
I'll tell you
no,
why.
Michael. I'm saying that it's on top of the fact that it was a lie. It
I see
was
what you're saying.
illegal for them to do it anyway. They had no business doing that. You could have owned them.
I could have owned them much more after what you're hearing.
No, I'm
But
serious. I'm serious. I'm saying you still probably owe, I don't know what the statute of limitations is on that, but it's worth being
Well-
investigated.
Well, here's the thing.
No one can do that in California
But see, here's the thing, right? So
unless you let them.
I'm thinking to myself, I said, self, but this has got to be a problem and shit. So after Comic Con, the individual in question who put all this in motion from DC Comics went to LA to meet with, he's in California. So we went to meet with, Warner Brothers on the West Coast, since he's there and whatnot. And my lawyer arranged a meeting. This motherfucker thought I was coming in to apologize, right? Here's the thing, right? I sat there with these people and I said, it wasn't me. Guys, like Michael, we've got two editors who were at the booth who swore out an affidavit that I did this. I'm like, it wasn't me. I wasn't there. And he's like, well, if you're not here to apologize, there's no reason for us to be here. I said, I produced my tickets. I said, anybody could have tickets and whatnot. And then the lawyer got in my face like, listen, you're lucky we don't sue the shit out of you. I'm like, then my attorney whipped out a cassette. Wasn't a whatever the little small ones and whatnot, broadcasters use.
Micro mini.
And yeah, and it was me on TV with the date and time underneath it. I was on the news station promoting Static. I was literally in another place. I said I wasn't there, right? So then their head legal counsel, who I liked, her name was Lillian, she says, Michael, what do you want? I said, nothing. Just reinstate the deal. It's a big misunderstanding. And they said, Paul Levitt is the guy who's doing this to me, said, we're not going to do it. Nobody wants you here. So I said, what? Oh, so you guys tried to set me up. But now I said, fuck you. Tonight I'm going on BET and tell the world how you called me a nigger. Nobody called you a nigger. How you treat me. That night, I got a call from Lillian Lasseton. I'm dropping names so we have a frame of reference. Lillian Lasseton, who said,
Who's Vivian Aston?
Lillian Lasseton.
Oh,
She
who's
was their
that?
head legal counsel.
Okay.
Who told me in confidence that if I went public, that Paul would go after the two people that brought me in. So I'm like, fuck you, just pay my lawyer, right? So, because I'm like, so I get the agreement, and the agreement, now remember, the agreement is another, and then I'm reading this shit, and it says, under no circumstances to truly can I look for the affiliates or whatever. That is, so they set me up, right? They set me up, and then they want to take all this away from me. My lawyer's like, you can't sign that. I said, of course I'm signing it. First of all, you cannot use an NDA to cover a crime. you can't do it, right? Of course I'm signing it. You know why I'm signing it? Because not only is it unenforceable, but it's the smoking gun about how much these motherfuckers hate me, right? I said, because it's so, I mean, my lawyer, Daryl Rubel Short, Nina Short was my lawyer at the time. Now she's a huge, huge bit. Like, Nina was my lawyer at the time. So Nina's got these records. My other lawyer, Mike Trailer, has these records. So, and DC Comics has these records. So clearly, right, if I wanted to be that nigga, I could be that nigga. Because it's absolutely, it's like, how do you explain it? How do you explain that? You can't explain it. Right? There's no way you can explain that. Now, why didn't I go after the juggler? Unfortunately, I've learned through hard hits on the ass from people is that you and me may give a fuck about what Dr. King, our leaders, black leaders have always been mostly from the church. Dr. King, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, Al Sharpton, Reggie Jackson, Jesse Jackson, right? So there's a connection between African Americans and the church. And what do our leaders always tell us? Don't let them see you fight. Don't let white people see you fight. And if there's a point at some time where you can do a good thing to uplift the race, do that. So I'm not attacking these people because of Milestone was still at DC. I let a lot of shit go, right? Because that's how I was raised. Stupid. But so they did this, and it's so blatantly fucked up that it's like if there was ever a time that I needed a how can I put it? If there was ever a time I needed something that will vindicate me from all this bullshit out there, I got it. So now, let me just calm down for a second. You've heard of the other history of the DC universe by John Ridley, the screenwriter.
Some of them, yeah.
Well, that book was the biggest thing to happen in comics, especially African American comics, since Milestone. It got so much press. You can Google it right now. You see all the press it got. Right. That was my deal. That was my concept. I sold DC a property called The Secret History of DC's Black Superheroes. Okay. I got a call from Dan DiDio. Oh, Jeanette Kahn bought it, and then Paul Levis decided he wanted to do the project, but not with the creator. Now I don't own their characters, but that's a fully realized concept and proposal which they signed up on, but didn't want it to buy it from me, and didn't want to do it without me. I'm like, fuck y'all, I took it to the course.
How much did you want to buy it from you for? Did he give you a price?
No. But they want to buy it. I'm like, no. Fuck you. No. You're going to buy it from me and then attach Larry the White Guy to no, fuck it. So,
even if they paid $10 million?
I'm sorry?
Even if they paid $10 million?
Trust me.
I mean, you can create something else. Why not?
Because it's not what I wrote that thing because I thought it was important to create a timeline of black superheroes which existed way before Milestone. And this was their answer to why there were no black superheroes in the DC universe. You know what the answer was?
It was, if I may, it was like the Avengers before the Avengers.
That was better than the Avengers.
Wow.
It answered the question. Keith Giffen, who died, but I've got his quote written down. He called it the next best thing to Watchmen. Because here's the thing. It answers the question, why were there no black superheroes through the entire time that DC was involved up until Milestone? Mm-hmm. There were black superheroes. They just had to operate underground. Because as in they got their inspiration from the Underground Railroad. You can't see no flying motherfucker back in the 1800s and not assume that, then they would have been trying to expend these characters. So they operated underground up until they revealed themselves when the Justice League. It's a beautiful shit. So it's an excellent thing. And I wanted to do that project. I'm not going to let them have it. Long story short, I get a call from Dan DiDio in, I forget the year, but he's like, we're about to do Doris Road, which is one of the 15 different titles it had. And we wanted to make sure that you knew you were going to get credit. I'm like, credit? I want to work on my project. And then he said that's not something that we may be able to do. So I sent him this email saying, dude, you cannot do this without me. So they canceled the project. Right? Then DC Comics gets a black fucking head. A black woman starts to head the company.
Who's the name of that? Who's the name? First?
Oh, fuck. Pam something.
Pam Summers?
Google, I don't know. Pam something. Just Google DC Comics new black. Yeah, I'll find out for you right now. I think it was Pam Lilford. But she this is right in the middle of Black Lives Matter, and she comes on and she asks, why aren't we doing this book about these black superheroes written by this Academy Award winning screenwriter, for John Ridley wrote 12 Years a Slave. Why aren't we doing this book? I'm quite sure they didn't say, well, because we're going to have No. They just fucking said, fuck it. And they published the book. That's when I went Negro. I wrote Jim Lee a letter. You know what a copy of that letter is? I wrote Jim Lee a letter stating, all right, this is the last story. You've done this these years, and now you're taking away my moment in the sun, right? And then I said, don't pay attention to anything that I'm not sending you any proof. Check your
Pam Lifford.
Yeah, I'm sorry?
Pam Lifford was her name.
Yeah. I said check
2018. She was the new head. Pam Lifford. Yeah.
Yeah. I told Jim Lee in this letter, check your information with your business affairs people. Forget me sending you anything. Just check what you have on your end. The next day, DC Comics started sending me money I didn't even know I had. Right?
Wow. How much were they sending you?
They started sending me, I think, thousands. Because this is money that they withheld from me when Paul Levitz was running the company. Right? So I guess he showed my letter to Business Affairs. All right, no, this is what I just sent him. I need the original one. I just thank you. I guess they showed my letter to Business Affairs, and Business Affairs said, "Whoa, all right, we need to make this right." So now, then he invites me back to DC. We're working on. I got this three books. The beautiful 3 graphic novel, all encompass epic saga. I'm excited about it. I did tons of artwork. And I sent all this. Jim Lee's never seen it. I wrote an open letter to Michael B. Jordan, who's producing the Static Shock movie. Right after I wrote that open letter, and told everybody I was back at DC, shit really started to happen to me regarding my living situation, my money, this, that, and the other. DC is trying to make things right. They've sent me money. Jim has been trying to communicate with me, right? But a couple of weeks ago, I can't get through the gym or whatever. So he was doing a public appearance at a comic book store right around the corner from where I lived, right? Where I'm staying with my ex, right? Went there. I didn't approach him. He came up to me and said, "Hey, this, that, and the other." And I'm like, he had a few more things to sign, and he said, "We'll talk after we sign. We will talk after this." I'm like, "I'm looking forward to it." Had an envelope with me. Is this it? Is that it? Had an envelope with me.
You okay?
This one. All right. This one.
Jim Lee, DC Comic, 900 West.
Yeah, this is a copy of what I sent him. And inside this one was my proposals and the stuff he hadn't gotten hard copies, right? Hard copies, right? At some point, somebody walks in or calls this comic book store, comics, collector's paradise. You don't have to find it now because it's gotta be in here. At some point, they get a call, like Comic-Con did, or someone walked in and said something, which caused Jim to skedaddle out without waiting for me.
Just leave.
He just leaves. So he was going to another location, which I knew everybody at the new location. I'm not rolling over there. That makes me look crazy. So I waited, and I went to WonderCon, and I'm waiting, and so I had another envelope for him, and in this envelope is a breakdown. I want to leave it sealed just in case I need to produce it as evidence. What do you call it? In this envelope was a breakdown of why it is, of the fact that I've been under this. There you go. The fact that I have been the fact that I've been under this horrible cyber attack, and whatever information you were given, not only is that against the law, but it's bullshit, right? And then I wrote down, and then I just reminded him what we had agreed upon. So somebody got information to the head of DC Comics who was ready to meet with me. I got all this shit on tape. Ready to meet with me, and all of a sudden he changes his mind because he's told something by the people at Collector's Paradise. Hello? Hello?
Jenny, are you asleep?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, gosh.
You fell asleep. All right.
Oh, I heard what you were saying, and I dropped off. I heard you were saying. Yeah, I apologize. It's been a.
Yeah, I'm just paranoid, man, because yeah. So anyway, that's it. That's where I'm at. So all I'm asking is two things.
This shit I've ever seen.
Why hasn't this reached the mainstream? And why? That's all right, man. Dude, man, you should, head off to sleep if you're tired and whatnot.
No,
man.
I'm fine. This is important. This needs to be on the record. Sorry, just don't mind me.
Let me tell you what's going to make the highlight reel.
There's a lot here, a lot. So,
but the thing is, it's very simply, what was told, what resulted in me being thrown out of Comic-Con, and for Jim Lee to leave like that. What possibly could have been told to these people? So who's ever doing this is impersonating someone of someone, and they're very, because I look like I'm crazy. But nobody can answer that.
do you think that
Nobody can answer why.
Well, do you think? I mean, let's hate to bring this up, but I mean, do you think it was connected to the time that you reportedly brandished a gun?
Say that again?
I said, do you think it was connected to the time when you reportedly brandished a gun at one of the programs?
You mean back in 2008 when I told I said you can talk whenever you can talk as long as you want, and when you were talking, you're gonna get shot.
Yeah.
And I set it up. And it was a big old orange thing at the tip of that thing. Come on. And
Well,
the other time when I said, you're about to get the times that I did the exact same thing, and then I held up a phaser and said, phaser on asshole. Right? It has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
I mean, it has absolutely, as much shit as I pulled at the Black House, right? I said, if you can talk as long as you want, and when you're done, you will get shot, right? And then I raised up, and I was like, hey, and that shit, that got one of the biggest ovations, and a sea of big ovations, but that shit killed.
Yeah. But is it possible that?
No,
not that. But I'm saying in general. you have, you even noted yourself that at times Cabler's been a little, goat. And it's entertainment, of course. And a lot of people, but
what have I, in 30 years of Black Panther, there have been one incident when somebody felt that my behavior has been goated. Some woman who thought that she was disrespected. And unfortunately for her, there were 5,000 people sitting there, and when Comic-Con reviewed the film, it's exactly the same skit that I did for years.
Right?
Right?
What I'm saying is, Michael, I'm not trying to indict you for anything. I mean,
No.
For example, look, and I've talked about this before. I did the NFL draft red carpet in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Then I signed up to be NFL draft red carpet Kansas, and I was rejected. But then the reason I was given was, well, someone said you made them uncomfortable, and I went back through my entire video set, and I could find nothing. So I sent a combined letter to 3 major heads of the league.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, I'm not going to use the names, but one of them said, "Hey, you want me to just get you in there?" And I said, "Nah, don't bother." But after that, I was treated like royalty. And the last meeting I was at, league meeting, I ran the Fall League in Atlanta, I ran a 7-hour long, nonstop live stream. And I did it because I wanted people to see what it was like to be there for 7 hours straight and what was going on and everything else. But I also did it so that at no point would there ever be a break where anybody could say I did anything that was not captured on video.
Right. Every single Black Panther was on video.
My point is that there are these times when people think you're at your most vulnerable, and they'll look at that, and there are people who make up stuff. And I've noticed this lately over the last 5 years, in particular with respect to us, and also in history. There's been this desire to make stuff up about us, and sometimes this is reported by reputable organizations. People believe it, and that's why. I mean, in fact, Michael, it's why I started Zenny 62 Media. The clients we had are clients that were being beaten up by the mainstream, lies are being told about them, and we won every single time.
It's amazing that you said that, right? Amazing. You should go back to the article, right? Mm-hmm. That we were reading, right? And I can read it. And you can follow along with me. Do you remember where you were?
I do. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I do.
Okay, other crazy collaborator. Okay. Mentioned this anyway. Comic-Con a few weeks ago and sat in on a black. Davis announced to his audience his ongoing issues with DC Comics because he thinks there is a conspiracy to keep Static down. He claims that DC is doing this so they won't pay him. Okay. He signed a non-disclosure agreement with Warner Brothers, stating he can't get work for any Warner Brothers company or affiliate, which is standard. What? A non-disclosure? I signed an agreement with a company telling them that I can't get work from them?
No, what you signed was a non-compete clause, and that
non-disclosure. It was a non-disclosure.
Well, non-disclosure is also not compete. You know, that's
it's non-compete. I've signed those too, but a non-disclosure meaning you and I can't talk about what it is we've been discussing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is not non-compete that I can't go out and do comic books. Oh wait, it included a non-compete.
Yeah.
In other words, wait a minute.
It's a standard.
No, it didn't include a non-compete because the only companies that the real non-disclosure was saying were their companies, were Warner Brothers companies. That's not a non-compete. That's you can't work for us. You can't work for any Warner Brothers existing or into perpetuity companies, divisions, affiliates. You can't even say the word W. You can't say the letter W or B. You know what I'm saying? You can't do any of that shit.
Yeah, you're working with them. Why would they write something where you're working with them? But you're working with them, right? Does that make any sense? They're compensating.
This is the level of hate These people tried to set me, and remember, I sent them a letter and they checked their references, right? They checked their business affairs. I sent them a letter stating, this is what you've done to me and I'm tired of this shit, so you all better make it right. And immediately they started sending me money. I didn't do anything on my end. They did all the checking themselves. So now, she goes on to say, other creators collaborated again and left some out of plans to reboot Milestone Media. In 2017, a reboot of Milestone 2.2 was launched without Davis. However, this resulted in a lawsuit, not from Davis. Then why even bring it up? But the widow of McDuffie, Charlotte Fullerton. According to Variety, she claimed the company's new leadership had completely ignored her late husband's share of Milestone Media, which they did. Davis wrote a column detailing his feelings about being left out of Milestone, right? Now, so far, except for the shit with DC, my resume, she got that right. And the, she included a link to something I had written, right? Which is fine. Now, out of the blue, right now, this sounds like a profile of me so far, right? And the controversy that she was talking about isn't even clear. Oh well. He claims that DC is doing this so they don't pay him. That's bullshit. He's signing non-disclosure, whatever. Okay, but here's the next line. Now remember, the non-disclosure, that's not something, that's not something that's going to raise a whole lot of red flags. That's not a non-disclosure. And you know what? The stuff that she made up, even that sounds perfectly. How many people have gotten upset about how you use their characters that you created, right? So even that makes sense, right? All the stuff, even though it's wrong, it makes sense that something like that could happen, right? Mm-hmm. So even though this is horribly written, horribly resources, it's not something that should cause alarm. But here, after all of this, her wrong statements, her horrible grammar, here's what comes next, with no preamble. Unknown sources at Comic-Con stated that there are rumors that Davis may be mentally unstable.
Right. Yeah.
Where the fuck did that come from? Davis regularly wrote about depression and suicidal thoughts in his Bleeding Cool article. I wrote about depression, but never, and I wrote one article about how I tried to leave the planet, right?
But then there was an episode at the hotel, right?
What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about when I was kicked out of the hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another stupid thing on my behalf.
Right.
Because you've heard about this
all
black
I'm saying
guy.
is, Michael, we've all had periods of our life where challenges have become so great that our reactions to them have been adverse. Okay. People.
I did another stupid thing though, man.
People will forgive you for that. Okay.
Forgive me for what? For being thrown out of the Hilton? I'm missing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But wait a minute. Are we talking about the same thing?
No, I'm saying that whatever it was, I'm certain that it is there's an old saying that time heals all wounds. Because let's put it this way. There was no police report attached to it. You didn't serve any jail time. You weren't on television having done anything. There was no video of you going on a viral rant. Okay? So the level of severity of all these it doesn't even rise to the point of having the Enterprise use impulse power to come and rescue you.
Okay, I'm not following what you're referencing.
What I'm saying is that what happened to you at Comic-Con, in my opinion, is fixable.
Wait a minute. Okay, what happened to me at the Comic-Con Museum?
At the Comic-Con Museum, at Comic-Con, it's all
nothing happened to me at Comic-Con. What happened to me at Comic-Con?
When we opened, you were talking about being escorted out.
That was the Comic-Con Museum. Yes.
Well, that was the museum. I apologize. Okay.
Right. No, that's all right, man. But yeah. Remember, I needed to get the new address for Comic-Con, and the only place I could get it from was him. It's still a part of Comic-Con. You're right.
That's all
And
I'm
they
saying.
threw me the fuck out. And it's fixable. When did that happen? That was last year, dude.
Right.
It's almost,
You haven't tried to do anything.
what? You crazy Negro?
Did you write a letter to them?
Dude, I met with David.
Okay.
I've sent. The only thing I can. The only progress I can get out of anybody is to see them in person. I can't reach anybody by email or text or message. All that shit compromised.
No, what I'm saying is, but you
reach
can write a form letter. Just to write it, have it notarized.
I've written letters. I wrote, but I had to hand deliver the thing that I wrote to Jim Lee, right? That had to be hand delivered. And then I sent one. How did we send it? Overnight. Wait a minute, you get the registration thing back?
Yeah, it's delivered.
But where's the registration thing? Why didn't you show it to me? It doesn't what?
It's still all you have to go online.
You gotta go online? But
It's an email, it's sent to you.
but wait a minute, they don't deliver that piece of paper to your mailbox anymore? Don't they supposed to do that? You register something?
You can print out one or that email.
You chose the email?
Yes.
With all the problems I'm having with email?
No, but it works though. She did the right thing. That's the right way to do it. She did the right thing. Michael, she did the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, because the problem, you may be having problems, but it doesn't mean that. Here's the thing. You can also make a video in the name of the person you're trying to reach with their title. So that if somebody goes online and types their name and their title, your video comes up. There are ways you can reach people. I do it all the time. In today's society, no one can say, if you really try to reach them, no one can, because you can prove.
Hello?
Yeah. I'm saying in today's society, nobody can say you didn't try to reach them if you do the ways that I'm talking about or she's talking about. Letter, email, make a video in their name and their title.
You're talking about first of all, I've sent things from her from other people's websites, including hers, don't get through, right? The only thing that may get through is snail mail, right? But if you don't get any response back, why is that?
Right. So my point is, make a video. Again, in their name, in their title, saying what you want to say publicly, and then it's there for the record.
I have made those videos.
But you
I can't put it on, wait a minute. I can't put it on LinkedIn. I can't put it on Twitter. If you go to my Twitter right now, you'll see that I blocked out of there for you.
Wait, you don't. For one thing, Twitter is the last platform you use to achieve.
I couldn't use it if I wanted to.
No, listen
It's
to
closed
me.
down
Listen
to me.
you're not listening, please. Twitter is the last platform you use. Folks, don't use Twitter to hit search engine optimization levels. Use YouTube.
Isn't YouTube owned by Google?
Michael, use YouTube.
Listen.
I say that everybody, all my
I use YouTube. Nothing that I put on YouTube. Have you seen anything? I have a YouTube channel. Have you seen anything? Nothing I do gets through. Nothing. And I'm not saying that to be difficult. I'm saying that because I've done it.
Did you include the name and the title of the person that you're trying to reach in the title of the video? Yes or no?
So you're saying do something public? Oh, wait a minute.
Yes.
Maybe I'm missing what it is you're saying.
Okay.
So let's say I'm trying to reach Wayne,
Uh-huh.
right? I'm going, but I'm sending it to Wayne via YouTube.
No, I'm saying it entirely different. I'm saying
I'm listening, and maybe I'm wrong. Because I like to be wrong.
For those parts that are publicly shareable, you're a public figure. You know public figures. You can send a video blog message to that person with their name in title. When I type their professional title in the title of that video, repeat it in the description area along with a small short text about what you want to say, and post it. And
Okay.
7 times out of 10, it's a 70% chance they'll see it, or somebody in the news that covers them will see it, or some combination
Okay.
of both.
Okay.
You know?
Now, I've tried that with my friend Karen Hunter, who's like a sister to me,
Yeah.
right? And that has not.
Why did you change the
she has
video?
not-
Why
she is not.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Why did you change the aspect ratio of the video?
For the thing I sent to Karen.
Oh, I get you. Okay. All right.
Sorry, I should have told you that. And thanks for reaching out and saying that.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Not a, because I'm looking for that. I'm sent to Karen.
You know. Hey,
Now I can't. Okay.
a major problem in
right,
society
hold on.
today is there is a lack of digital sharing about how to handle these problems among folks of color. Okay. And
Yeah. And, yeah.
and there's a over assumption of the power of a platform and who runs it. That is not. I'll say one thing, that is, it's not totally unfounded. You know, when you're dealing with search and algorithms, they can screw with your ability to get seen. But that's when you have to be multi-platform. You know, use devices that put your video on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, not Reddit, but Pinterest, all at the same time, right? So that, and also Threads, which is an emerging platform for video, and now Substack
Yeah. I'm
has video,
actually
right?
on Threads now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
not only that, if you have your own WordPress sites like I do, I don't recommend you do this as a standard, but self-hosted WordPress sites are such that you can have your own video library. I believe you get a terabyte of free space to use for video if you use Jetpack. That's a lot of space. So
But it's the enormity of my blanket of surveillance under me. I've tried everything that you said, and I've tried it from new accounts. I've tried her account. I've tried it from
But what
new
is
computers
but what
and
is the
whatnot.
it that you try? Because look, our videos out.
I've
Right.
tried sending.
This is public.
Well, I've tried sending direct messages. Wayne, Karen, Bill Duke, and on all 3 of those platforms. And then the public stuff is like, I've sent stuff to Karen, like, I really need to speak to you. Things not doing well, but I'm not about to include her in this shit that's gonna make me look crazy. You see, but I'm with you. I'm with exactly what you're saying, but none of that shit has been successful. And the question that you asked earlier, what person would do something like this? Right, and it's the. Well, didn't you?
Michael, I was going to say though, when you're in a situation like that, that's where you reach out to your friends who have those connections, who can advance the message for you.
Dude, it's like you're reading my mind, right? If you take a look at, hold on, as a matter of fact, and I am so glad to be talking to you, because I think this is going to blow your mind. Don't go anywhere. Oh wait, I won't be cut off if I go on to Facebook, will I?
You're already in Facebook on Messenger.
No, if I go into Facebook, will I be cut off?
Yeah, on your phone. You're on your phone, right?
I'm on the iPad.
Okay. Yeah, you'll be cut off temporarily, but
Hold on
yeah.
a second. I got.
I
Wait a minute.
think.
Wait a minute. You know what? I got
to-
another. I have another. You see where I put the phone? Oh wait, hold on a second. I got another way of doing this. The
Yeah, because on
no man, I'm glad you brought that up.
sure. And yeah, I should think about getting them to rest. Well, 6 a.m. out here.
Is it out? You say it was?
2 in the morning.
Oh man, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing, man. You know,
Oh,
I know
definitely.
that time we used to stay up and I got nothing. It was. Hold on. Shit.
Also, with Comic Con, I would ask someone to show you site time they did what you did and where it was, and evidence you were someplace other where they said you were. Guess what? They're wrong.
Hold on. I wrote this. What'd you say about reaching out to my friends, right?
Yep.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay.
One.
So am I.
One second,
So am I.
please. Where the
Okay.
Okay, one second.
Um,
Where's it?
Still there, Michael?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm looking. Um,
We have 3 live viewers, I think.
hold on a second. Shit.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for this plea to my friends.
Who is that?
That's me.
Oh, that's you. Oh, I thought you said Dipley. That's you.
Hold on a second.
Twitter and Instagram have been out of my control for years.
This is to my friends.
Right? What I've learned just recently is that each of those platforms have gotten letters from
I think this is long. Wait a second.
requesting information.
What were you saying in the video?
Hard to believe, but easy to confirm. And it was like, why haven't any of my? You see that there's the one where it was just, why haven't any of my high-powered friends, help me? It's either because they're not seeing what I'm putting up there, or they believe the hype. I'm sorry, man. Hold on. Hold on a second. Sorry.
There we go. Hey, Michael.
Okay. Yeah.
So to
Yeah. I know. You need to get some sleep, man. But
no, I just have one. I have an idea. Say
Okay.
to move along this specifically.
Let me ask you one question before you ask me. Before you
Okay.
ask mine. I went on and I said, look, if you don't want to get involved, just contact TMZ anonymously, right? And and these things just don't get to people, because there's no way on this planet that it's just not being translated.
No, my point is, why would you go to TMZ rather than in a modern age? You can make your own media or come to me. Like you're doing it now.
First of all, I'll tell you why TMZ, because all this stuff started happening. All this stuff started happening immediately after I announced that I was back at DC. They have the resources and investigation juice.
Right, but here's my point, Michael. Here's what I'm saying. We,
Okay.
as black folks, have to stop running to a white platform and waiting for them to tell our story when technology allows you to tell your story immediately. That's what you're doing now, okay? We do that way too much. And so when we talk about blacks in tech, and I turn around and look at what people are doing that are black in tech, or I look and I'll just say Morgan DeBaum and her events, there are parties, and there's all these parties, and there's no developers making anything, there's no hackathons, there's no investors.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And the way we
but
stop that is
Uh-huh.
to first of all say, how do I get to reach the people that I want to reach, and how do I engineer it that way? And if I don't know how to do it, maybe Zinni does, and if Zinni doesn't know, maybe he knows somebody else. And if none of us know, maybe we can all work together and figure out that thing, and then we have a rich friend of ours who would finance it. Okay? But turning to an organization that, frankly speaking, was started pretty much in the same way that I'm talking about, just because you've seen them.
I reached out to,
right, here's my point.
at
And
the
then
beginning of this.
and I'm saying is you're not getting what you want.
No, I'm not getting what I want.
Right.
But before I did any of this stuff, I reached out to the Urban League. I reached out to the NAACP. I had other people reach out to me.
But they're not
and-
media organizations. I'm saying
not what?
they don't know media. They know old-fashioned 20th century media. They don't know new media today.
But I'm looking for somebody to rep. I can't reach my lawyer. My cousin Nyla she's a lawyer for Ropes and Gray. I can't reach her. So if that doesn't say that I'm being targeted by people who have all my shit locked down, what else is there?
Michael, I think your situation is a lot simpler than that. I think it has to do with you're trying to reach out to people who really don't know how to use media to get the word out about what's going
I'm
on
not
with
trying
you.
to reach out to her for media. I'm trying to reach out to her because somebody is suing me for sexual abuse 30 years ago with made up shit. 30 years ago, this woman is coming after me for some made up shit, which is so would be laughable if it wasn't for the fact that she's got access to all of my computer shit, and then she's part of this shit, and I can't say anything about that because it makes me look crazy. I'm looking for a lawyer for legal reasons, because the rest of that shit will come. I mean,
Well, here's the thing. I don't want you to talk too much about that here. What I want you to
Okay.
do is this. I want you to look at your. There's a legal Zoom, and look at the documents under defamation of character, where you can file a suit against somebody on your own. A note to get them to stop. Okay, and move forward that way. But
Who am I gonna
and let's talk about that later.
But here's what I'm
All right,
saying.
because here's my
Maybe
point,
I'm
Michael.
communicating
There's
it
too much.
well.
There's too much of the chopping up we're doing is we need to do offline.
All right, that's
Okay.
fair.
All right, but I'm saying to you, the people you're reaching out to, it's like it'd be fine in the 20th century, but in the 21st century, it's not going to work. This is a good start. All right, but you gotta you and also your girlfriend. You have to tell your story because she's trying to tell her story about you. You got to tell her your story. Say, hey, look, this is BS.
Dude, if you take a look at all of my posts, first of all, I was off of Facebook for a year. I couldn't get back on, right? If you take a look at my posts, I've been pleading this case for over a year.
I
Exactly
understand
what-
that, but Michael, let's just close. Let's talk about it later because I will say this and I'll say this again. Okay,
Okay.
you got to stop relying on platforms like Facebook.
I
There-
can't
there's-
get anything done. Listen, you tell me,
Okay.
and I'm not trying to blow myself up.
Substack. Use your Substack.
Where? Use what?
Substack.
If it's something I have to do online, it won't get done.
Yeah, well, that's not true.
Really?
Yeah.
I've contacted the FBI about my ID theft. Nothing. It's been 3 years or 2.5. Nothing. I couldn't get it through. I went to the FBI, right? And they just said you got to do everything online. Report cybercrime, you have to do it online.
I've done it. I got results.
But you got results. That's fine, but I can't get anything. I posted tonight a video of me trying to once again get an identitytheft.gov. I can't get through. Go through. No matter what device I use, no matter what computer I restart or erase the factory settings, it doesn't get through. And you know that technology exists, but the question is, what have I done that would warrant this kind of response, right? But at this point, it doesn't matter because these people have noticed all that money. I'm not even bitching about the money. I mean, man, I'm almost 70 years old. I've got nothing. They just cleaned out all my shit. I've got nothing. If I can get in front of somebody, some legitimate person in law enforcement who or investigative journalists who will do what it is they need to do without any input from me except here's what I'm saying, now go check it. None of that shit's gonna happen. It hasn't happened. I can't reach people. Dude, I've called you a million freaking times. I have.
You haven't called me that much.
Oh yes, I have. You know, if you haven't gotten it, that's one thing.
Right.
But you're the one guy. But you're the one guy that I knew knows how to handle this online shit, right? And this is the first time that I had no idea I was going to reach you. I guarantee you, it's going to be hard as fuck to reach you after this. You know, and whenever I make any progress, like reaching somebody who's sympathetic to my situation, something bad always happens. I mean, really bad. I'm sorry, man. Always happens to me after that. And I'm not exaggerating in the least. So, if there's a way that you could, I'll whatever you say do, I'll do it.
Okay, first of all, set up your own ID protection online, so that in
My
the
on what?
ID protection. There's all kinds of many of
I
them
live.
for free. Identification protection platforms you can join. Okay, because you're taking it from the situation of you want somebody to rescue you there, and in this era of unfortunately what's called DIY, do it yourself, you're not doing yourself a favor and using these platforms so that those platforms can work and protect your identity. All right, that's one thing. And the others are what other things that I've said. Tell your story on YouTube when you want to get it out. But also,
How am I supposed?
I will say this. I think this is between you and Comic Con and the other people. I really believe that you can reach them if you try.
I've been trying for 3 fucking years, right? Nothing. Right? The only way I was able to reach them this year was to literally go to Comic Con. Go to WonderCon, and I got in, and on the way out, security told me that Comic Con wanted a picture of my badge. You're like, no, they don't. No, they don't. Right? And look, this shit is so ridiculously crazy because it should be easy for me to just get people to pay attention. But if it's something that I do online, from it will not happen. And you try it.
Oh, I'm
I'll give
fine,
you.
man. I don't have a problem with anybody.
Well, no. I'm talking about you contact people who may be interested in what right, and see what kind of response you get. Because I'm sure that you'll be able to get, if you don't do it from what you're talking to me from. I'm sure that you'll be able to get. You can sell this story to anybody. First of all, it's so many angles. Either I'm under a severe cyber attack by seasoned professional hackers, or I'm out of my mind. Either way, it's a great fucking story. Either way, it's something that somebody should feel, oh, because, dude, my dream was to be back at DC Comics. Only not back, but I was back on my terms. Everything that I said, because I've been saying for years, I can go back there anytime I want. And they did the one thing. I'm like, fuck it. No one's taking care of me. No one's gonna care about me. Nobody's. People from Milestone are literally telling people the reason I wasn't invited to Milestone was because, first of all, that's bullshit. Was because they are afraid of what's happening with me mentally. First of all, that's against the law. You can't tell anybody anything about somebody's mental issue, especially when it comes to employment. And I was absolutely a part of that shit until I found out in 2015 in February that I wasn't a part of it by reading the Washington Post. Now, I can tell you right now, I don't believe that Milestone's behind this. Absolutely not. I don't believe it, but I can tell you also with proof that they are absolutely taking advantage of this I'm crazy shit. And something.
Well,
Look, I appreciate anything that you say to me, right?
Yeah,
But
I think you need to get some rest. I think we both do.
I can't sleep. I haven't been able. My insomnia.
Well, you know what? That's really going to drive you crazy if you don't get rest.
I've been.
So this will be it's your first test of whether or not you're sane. Get some rest, okay?
All right.
All right.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Take care.
All right, man. I'll see you. All right. Okay. All right. Well, folks, that was. Thank you very much for watching, and Michael will bounce back. He's got a great gift. He's done a lot of great work in the comic business and a Comic-Con, and I think the way this should be sorted out is, I think, first of all, the Comic-Con people need to really explain to him what happened. And if there's a problem going on here, then they need to help him get help, rather than just rejecting him, because that clearly is affecting him. That's his family, you know. We're at Comic-Con, we're all family, and they've treated me like that over the years. So, you know, I do believe the situation is rectified. Thank you, everybody. Live long and prosper. I don't know how I got the circular screen, though. It's like, how did that happen? I pushed the wrong button. Anyway, I'll figure it out. Subscribe to Zombie62 on YouTube, and bookmark SanDiegoComicConNews.com. Yes, SanDiegoComicConNews.com. We'll see you.